Do you reach for sweets, salty foods, or takeout when you're feeling stressed? Today, we're going to talk about how to overcome stress eating habits so that you can finally achieve your health goals. Welcome to the Fit and Fulfilled Show. If you're a busy professional woman who wants to finally prioritize your health and happiness, this is the place to be. I'm your host, Soraya Russell, certified macronutrition coach, mindset coach, and lifestyle transformation coach. And each week I share practical strategies to help you build sustainable habits, boost your energy, and build confidence in your body without the stress, burnout, or guilt. Let's dive in. So, this topic feels very personal for me because I used to really struggle with emotional eating, not just stress eating, but if I was bored, lonely, sad, even happy, I would always turn to food. But my life has changed so much by overcoming this habit. So I'm not only going to explain how to overcome stress eating, but why it happened in the first place psychologically, because I believe that education is power. If you know why something happens, it makes it much easier to change the habit. So the reason that stress eating happens is because when you're stressed, you experience a rise in cortisol levels, which is your stress hormone. When this happens, your body is essentially in fight or flight mode. So it's looking for quick energy sources to make you feel better. Quick energy sources are things that digest faster inside your system. That's going to be things like simple carbs. Think candy, baked goods, chips, anything that processes very quickly inside your body, but typically tastes very good and sugary and sweet. It's going to be an example of something that provides quick energy and relief to your body when you're feeling stressed. And the dopamine hit from that food provides temporary relief. So if you've ever stressed eaten or emotionally eaten, at first when you're doing it, you feel better. You're like, oh, I feel comforted. I feel more calm. I feel better in the moment. But once you're done eating the food, you're back to reality of just feeling stressed. So it provides kind of a temporary comfort, which your body's looking for in that moment. So if you're a stress eater, it is not a character flaw. It's literally your body trying to fight what it thinks is a threat to you, right? And once you understand that and have habits to change the behaviors and find different ways to fight what's going on in your brain, that's when you can overcome stress eating and find healthier outlets, which we're going to get into. So the first thing you want to do is identify your stress eating triggers or your emotional eating triggers, right? There are time-based triggers and then there are actual emotional triggers. Time-based triggers means things like, do you typically stress eat in the afternoon, right before bed, in the morning? Think about when these episodes typically happen. That's going to be very important for you to identify. You also want to think about what emotions typically lead you to emotionally eat. For some women, I find that's just stress. It's just boredom. For some women, I find it's multiple emotions. So think back over the past month. And if you can't remember that far, I get it. Maybe the past week. Think about the last time or couple times you emotionally ate and think about the time that it happened and what emotions caused you to do that. Once you identify the time and or emotion that's causing it, I want you to surrender to the emotion. I know this sounds kind of woo-woo, like it won't work, but seriously, one of the reasons we end up emotionally eating, drinking, smoking, whatever it is because we're looking for a way out of the emotion instead of surrendering to it and allowing it to naturally pass through our system. Just because you're feeling stressed, sad, bored, you don't have to change it, right? A lot of us are taught that if we're feeling a negative emotion, we have to find something to make it go away as fast as possible. And that's why we tend to turn to food. It is human nature to feel negative emotions. And if you're always trying to fight them, always trying to hide from them, you're going to indulge in things that are not good for you in the long term. You don't have to do everything about every emotion that comes to your brain. Just because you feel bored does not mean you have to call your ex. Just because you feel lonely does not mean you have to go on a date with someone you're not interested in. Just because you're feeling stressed does not mean you have to eat. You get to decide what you do with that emotion. And when you surrender to it, you take the power away from it to control your actions. So the steps I like to use to kind of let it pass through and surrender to it is number one, name the emotion. You typically know what it is, right? Identify that it's there. Number two, accept that it's there. Stop trying to say, oh, I'm trying to hide from feeling stressed. You feel stressed, it's fine, name it. And number three, let it exist without taking action. Let yourself feel stressed and sit there and feel the stress. That is okay to do. And number four, breathe and let it pass through your system. I promise you, if the next time you feel stressed, you stop and take this approach, you're going to allow the stress to kind of flow through you and flow out of you versus trying to find ways to escape from it. And it's still going to be there after you've emotionally eaten. Remember that emotions are temporary visitors, not permanent residents. When you can understand this, you can understand that that emotion can pass through you without you having to do anything about it. You don't have to eat to stop feeling stressed. You don't have to drink to stop feeling stressed. You can let it pass through naturally, and that way you didn't consume something that sabotages your health, weight loss, or wellness goals. And you'll find the need to emotionally eat starts going away when you stop fighting it, when you stop trying to hide from it, and when you actually surrender to it. So I'm telling you, I know this sounds a little bit crazy, a little bit out there, but try this hack, just sitting with it, accepting it, letting it flow through, and you'll find you feel way better. And that's going to take us into the next step. Next, you want to dive into natural stress relieving activities. So some people jump straight to, okay, I'm stressed, I'm going to go for a walk. I'm feeling lonely, I'm going to call my mom. But you skip the step of actually identifying the emotion and surrendering to it, which is very, very important. But now that we've done that, we can go into a actual natural stress relieving activity. So what I recommend is once you identified the emotions that typically make you emotionally eat, say that is loneliness and stress, you want to tie, I would say pick two activities for each emotion that you will do once you surrender to the emotion. So for example, if that's loneliness and you typically eat, maybe you will call your mom, you will go for a walk, right? Those are the two things that you'll go to. You can pick one or the other, or you can do both at the same time. Say that your emotion that typically makes you eat is stress. That could look like instead doing breathing exercises, doing yoga, reading your Bible. That's three, but you get the idea. So, whatever emotions typically make you turn to food, pick two other activities to go with it and pick one of those to do once you go through the first two steps. So now at this point, you've identified the emotion, you've let it pass through your body, you've done a naturally stress relieving activity. At this point, you are going to feel a lot better. And now we're going to dive into the next step. And that is understanding that sometimes you might still have desire to stress eat. There's nothing wrong with you, it's normal. Just a couple weeks ago, I was really stressed about something and I ate. But instead of eating a huge brownie that's like 500 calories and a bunch of ice cream, I had a healthier, lower calorie swap. So there's nothing wrong with it every now and then. You want to focus on reduction, not complete elimination at first. But if you do decide to stress eat or emotionally eat, you want to have lower calorie alternatives that you can turn to. So, for example, my favorite foods or the foods I typically turn to when I am stressed or overwhelmed are sweets. Honestly, that's it. I want sweets. Sometimes I want takeout like pizza or something, but I'm a sweets girl through and through. So figure out your favorite sweets and you want to find lower calorie alternatives that you can consume when you feel the need to overindulge on sweets. Some examples I like are Nature Bakery brownies. They are delicious in my personal opinion. Love them if you're a brownie lover. Another one that I really like is Halo Top ice cream. It is a lower calorie ice cream, very, very tasty. It's like only 50 calories for a huge scoop. I think the entire tub is 200, 300 calories, depending on what flavor you get, which is really good for a whole tub of ice cream. Some other ones are air popped popcorn, chocolate squares. You can even do Greek yogurt with berries if you're looking for something sweet. Quest protein chips are really good because you also get some protein in while you're having your chips. There's a ton of things out there, but those are some of my top favorites and ones that my clients really enjoy. And when you do decide to indulge, tell yourself, I'm going to stop when I'm satisfied, not when I'm stuffed. An easy way to do this as well is instead of giving or getting a huge pack of like family sized chips, get the single serving pack, right? So for every snack you get, don't get a huge family size, get a small pack, and that's going to allow you to stop eating because there's literally none left. The pack is over. So if you struggle with over consuming and you keep eating and eating, eating because you have a big bag of something, just get single servings and that'll help with that. Another thing you want to do to combat emotional eating and specifically stress eating is just fueling your body consistently. Because the worst case scenario that I see happen with a lot of women is they are stressed and they're also hungry. If you're stressed and hungry, you're mixing cravings with hunger, with emotion. It's a whole roller coaster, and that's not going to lead to a good outcome. So, by you staying fueled throughout the day, you are mitigating the chance that you will then binge eat or emotionally eat because you're actually full and satisfied. So, a couple things I recommend is eating about every 4 hours. With each of your meals, try to include lean proteins because lean proteins help you stay more satiated, stay hydrated. So, I've talked about multiple times on this show how to increase your hydration. That can look like including electrolytes, drinking in the morning, before, during, and after meals, and at night, and keeping healthy snacks accessible and on hand, which kind of goes with what I was saying about finding those swaps. So, if in your house you have Nature Bakery brownies, you don't have like super heavy, high calorie brownies, that's what you're going to turn to. If you have Halo Top ice cream versus full regular ice cream, you're going to turn to that. So your environment does really make a difference. If you have those healthier, higher quality snacks on hand, those are the things you're going to turn to. So some common mistakes to avoid with stress eating is trying to eliminate it completely. You are human. You've probably been stress eating for a long time. For me, for example, my stress eating started in college, which was a long time ago. Before that, I wasn't really stressed about anything, right? When you're a kid, you're not stressing about anything. You're not paying any bills. You're not worrying about the gas in the car or the mortgage. So there's nothing to stress about. But once you start going to school, you got to get grades up, you got to pass your classes, get your degree. It's a lot. So my stress eating started when I was studying for exams, staying up late in the library. I was drinking coffee, chugging that, having sweets at midnight, 1 a.m. And that kind of translated into my corporate life as well. So I think a lot of us stress eating started around college, after college when we first started working a job. So this is something you've been dealing with for a long time. Don't aim for complete elimination because you can get there, but it might take a little bit of time to do that. Instead, you want to aim for awareness, right? That's a more realistic expectation. Because when you become more aware of your stress eating or emotional eating, you're more likely not to do it. If you've done the exercises we talked about, right? Identifying the emotions, and then when they come up, going through that surrendering process. Once you do those things, you're way less likely to consume food. If you do, it's going to be a lower calorie option because you know exactly what's going on. So focus on awareness and progress over perfection. Even me, like I said, every now and again, I do stress eat, but it's very, very rare. Really, the goal is to have most of the time when you're feeling an emotion, finding a healthier outlet. So nowadays, most times when I'm feeling a negative emotion, I'll typically go for a walk, call a friend. I will really sit with emotions now. That's a normal thing for me. So when you get to that place and that becomes more normal than you eating, that's how you know you're in a good place. Another common mistake to avoid is restricting too much during the day. We talked about how mixing hunger with an emotional eating or emotions is going to lead to emotional eating and it's going to be really, really bad. So if you stay fueled during the day, you're eating every 4 hours, you're way less likely to overeat because you're actually satisfied, you're comfortably full. And so the only thing that's making you eat is the emotion, which is going to make it way less likely. So staying fueled throughout the day is going to be a big thing to help you mitigate that emotional eating. Another common mistake to avoid is beating yourself up after you stress eat. It's going to happen sometimes. And if you think about it this way, if you stress eat and you beat yourself up, that's going to make you more stressed, which is going to lead to probably more stress eating. What I see happen a lot of times is women are like, okay, I stress ate. Maybe I had a whole family size bag of chips, right? And now I'm beating myself up about it. So I might as well have more food because who cares? I'm already a stress eater, already messed up. I'm just going to keep going. So beating yourself up is going to make the problem worse. And something I always like to share is you stressing about something doesn't change the outcome. So why stress, right? If I am applying for a new job and I'm stressed about it, me stressing doesn't change whether I get the job or not. So why am I going to continue to ruin my day by stressing about it? You truly get to choose your emotions. And a great way to think about it is say two people are in a car accident, right? Same car accident. Person A gets in a car accident and is mad, irate, yelling at the person, cussing them out, just really upset about the situation. Person B is in the same car accident, but no one got hurt, right? In both situations, no one got hurt. They both have insurance. Person B is like, oh my gosh, thank God you're not hurt. I'm not hurt. They find out that their moms are from the same small town. Maybe one person owns a painting business, the other person needs to get their house painted. They're like, oh my gosh, this is perfect timing. I haven't found anyone who seems to be professional enough. So person B is leaving the situation feeling very empowered. They made a new friend, they found a new contact, they connected with someone who knows their mom or grandma, right? And so two situations that are the same, but way different response. Once again, you get to choose your emotions. You get to choose whether you feel very stressed about something. You get to choose if you surrender to it or let it control or consume your life. Be person B because your life will be better even with the same situations as person A. Another mistake is not addressing the actual emotion and not surrendering to it. So, like I said, food is an escape. It's not really the solution to the problem. You're just trying to escape the emotion. And when you do that, the emotion's still going to be there once you eat. But when you surrender to it and allow it to actually pass through your system, that's how you really get through the emotion. So remember that stress eating is not a character flaw. It's literally your body's biology, you trying to fight things that your body thinks is a threat. But with these strategies, you can actually combat these emotions naturally, find a healthier way to cope with them, and allow yourself to stop turning to food when you're feeling negative emotions and understand that you are human and that's why you're feeling these emotions and there's nothing wrong with you. So thank you so much for tuning in to the Fit and Fulfilled show today. I hope you walked away with actionable strategies that you can start implementing right away to reduce your stress eating and feel more fulfilled, confident, and energized in your personal and professional life. If you found this helpful in absolutely any way, I ask that you please subscribe and let me know what you liked most about today's episode. It helps other professional women discover these strategies so they can also start thriving in their personal and professional lives. And if you want to achieve your health and wellness goals and lasting weight loss, then I invite you to apply for the Fit and Fulfilled Academy. This is our signature coaching program where we provide the guidance, support, and accountability you need to achieve your weight loss goals and maintain those results for the rest of your life. You can get all the details down below. And next week, we're diving into a brand new topic that you're not going to want to miss. But until then, remember you deserve to feel as successful in your health as you do in your career. Take care.